If you are on your healing journey, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to talk about what the journey has been like for myself, so that way you, if you are just beginning, you kind of have an idea of what to expect. So my healing journey started in 2019 after I had graduated university. I was, like 22 years old at the time. I thought I was going to become a registered dietitian. So after I graduated university, I got a job as a nutrition assistant at an eating disorder clinic. And I started working there. I was working there for about 7 months. And if you know anything about eating disorders, they're basically like a mental health issue, like people who have eating disorders. So I was around these girls and women who had eating disorders, or you could say they also had mental health issues. And it was incredibly impactful for me to be around that energy and to be actually helping these girls. And there was a lot of sentimental moments that I experienced with them, just to see these girls working so hard to improve their mental health. It really impacted me, like in a very profound way. Like my spirit was inspired, but without even me being aware of it in the moment. So I ended up actually leaving that job after being there for about 7 months, because it was kind of hard to be in that environment, because it's like a very intense environment to be in. And so I say all that context because that was what I believe was very much the thing that inspired me to go on my own healing journey, was to be working with these girls who were just going incredibly deep into healing themselves. Literally they do so much. Particularly, even the most was like the girls who lived at residential, which is basically a house where they have 24-hour support, and they just followed a very structured program. And I was also surrounded by a lot of great people. I met a lot of great people there at that job, a lot of mental health therapists and people in that sort of field. So that definitely inspired me. And then one day I basically went on this camping trip with some friends, and on the way back I came back with a friend, and I remember I was closing the door to my friend's car, like as I got out, like on the drive back from the trip. And my friend got upset at me because I was slamming the door to her car, but I was doing it like non-intentionally. But she was irritated at me for doing it. And I remember after that had happened, she dropped me off at my house, and I was gonna go give her a hug goodbye, and she just was like not in the mood. So she just said like bye, and she just left. And I remember in that moment I felt like, for some reason, just like really bad. Like felt like I had done something really bad, but in reality it wasn't like I really did anything that bad. Obviously it was just I wasn't closing the door hard on purpose. But I felt bad because I kind of felt like obviously my friend was irritated a bit at me, but in hindsight I just know that she was just in an irritable sort of state to begin with. And you might be thinking, you might be bored at this point maybe, but I promise you this is leading up to something meaningful, because this is all actually the thing that really started me on my healing era, which maybe could help you, because I'm sure for everyone it's different, like how you start your healing era, but I'm sure there's some overlying similarities in how everybody starts to a certain degree. And so, okay, going back to my story, I remember coming back inside my house after getting dropped off by my friend, and I remember just like feeling like bad. Like I felt bad. Like I felt bad that my friend was mad at me. And I didn't like the fact that I felt bad over something that I know I didn't do on purpose. Like I knew I shouldn't have felt that bad. Like I felt really bad. Like I felt guilty. I felt like, man, I fucked up. I felt really terrible. And it really affected me that my friend was upset. I just really wish she wasn't upset. Even though I think I even knew at the time, like she was probably already kind of upset. But I was like, I just felt like, man, why am I so sensitive to something so relatively simple? Like it's really not that big a deal, right? And I remember that day, I just decided that every day moving forward, I would like be with my feelings. I remember I just thought to myself, like, if something so simple like this is bothering me, like I need to find out why. I need to really diagnose this and get this resolved, because it just felt like it was something too simple for it to really be affecting me that much. And so yeah, that's really what started it. Then, I was living with my brother at the time. I started to read more books about spirituality. The first book that I read that was incredibly impactful, and I talk about it nowadays because, it really changed my life, was a book called The Genie Within by Harry W. Carpenter, which pretty much teaches you about your subconscious mind and helps you to reprogram it. There's a lot of exercise. Sorry, it cut off. My phone storage ran out. But, yeah, so that book was really good for me. Really taught me like about the mind. So that was really informative. And it really kind of made me gain belief that, however my mind was right now, that it didn't have to stay the same and that I could reprogram it. And it gave me like a practical understanding for how to actually be able to do that. So I just started to apply what I learned from the book. And so the beginning of the healing journey, actually, I want to say the healing journey just in the macro, it ebbs and flows a lot. I would say at the beginning, it's going to feel like really exciting because, oh, cool, like I'm going to start my healing journey. Like this is going to be a lot of fun. But after you kind of get past like what I call the honeymoon phase, like it gets hard, honestly. Like it gets hard. Like I dealt with a lot of, since 2019, I've dealt with a lot of disassociation, like really feeling kind of out of body, certain, like I think I definitely had what they call derealization, depersonalization, basically like feeling like you're out of your body and like feeling like you're watching things through a glass, like not really being in real life, as if life was like fake or something. So I've struggled a lot with that since then. So there's a lot of ebb and flow in the process of the healing journey. But I think the thing that is the most important that I've realized actually just more so recently, so in the later parts of my healing era, is that one of the most powerful things is actually just to be surrounded by people who are also in their healing era. Or people that are also just like working on themselves. Like it's really important. And I'm not saying like you have to be around people who are like in therapy per se or something like that. But what I'm saying is like you have to be around people who basically are trying to like do the same thing that you are. So like if you are trying to heal, like if you're hanging out with people that are also like, if you're working out and that's a part of your routine, then hang around people who like to work out. Like if you reading books or watching YouTube videos is a part of, or like listening to podcasts and stuff is like a part of your routine, like hang out with people who also do that so you can talk about it. Like if you want to create a future where you're a, whatever career path you're trying to choose, like surround yourself by people who are also doing that. Like I think that's such an important part of the healing era, is to like learn to value your energy enough to the point where like you start really curating your life and the people that you surround yourself specific to whatever your future goals are, because ultimately those are the things that are going to really keep you going in life, because ultimately your healing era doesn't mean that you're just going to be laying around and doing nothing. Like that's not what it means. Like what it means is you're basically just really, really focused on yourself. You know, like if you're someone like me, like you used to people please, you used to like spread yourself really thin, or you used to like do things that were really hard, but it was really like just to try to maintain the identity you had created, but not because it has like a real fulfilling sort of purpose behind it. And so you might have to kind of like recreate a whole identity, and that's honestly a really, really hard process. So I can go on for days, you guys, on talking about this, but if you find this stuff interesting, please go ahead, drop a comment, ask me any questions that you might have. I've been on my healing era since 2019, and I could honestly yap all night. I just really wanted to build a little context for someone who might be beginning their healing era, just so they know what it looked like for me. And so just maybe so you can just have a feeling or get a point of view of what it looked like for someone else. And also, I just want to tell you guys, like, I'm gonna be making videos indefinitely on YouTube. Right now it's every Monday at 6 a.m. there's a new YouTube video, but I am posting every single day on TikTok, Instagram, and here on YouTube on the YouTube Shorts. So keep an eye out for those videos. Much love. Peace.